Alright, so sorry about the wobbling around on the camera. I don't really do this very much, and I don't have a very good stand. But anyways, I got a Lasko 5160, and anytime I try to use it, I get a flashing 88 error. That's pretty common, I think, failure for these, from what I found out. I'm going to show you how to fix it, and it's actually pretty simple, and costs you about $6 on Amazon, and a little bit of your time. So I'm going to pick you up here a little bit and show you what that error is looking like. You can see it says it's a flashing 88. All the icons are flashing on there. And that's basically due to a bad thermistor is one of the reasons that can cause that. And basically what a thermistor does, it's a resistor that's based off of the ambient temperature in the room. Alright, so basically all you gotta do is make sure it's unplugged, of course. And then there's several screws. Now I've already gotten this apart, so just bear with me. I'll show you what that looks like. But you got three screws here, three screws on the other side, and then some security tape. That way they know if you popped it open or not. And remove that, and then you take these two screws out. Now you will need a Phillips head, and you will also need a number 15 security Torx bit, a T15. Let me find one of those in here so I can show you what it looks like. There's two of those because they don't want you popping this open. Actually, I take that back. I thought it was a security Torx. They are not. Okay, so you just need a T15 Torx. And Torx is the star-shaped ones. I don't know if you can see that very well. Star-shaped Torx. This has the little hole in it for the security, but it's nice and long so I can get down in there. Alright, so once you have that, all you gotta do is pop this back cover off. Alright, and then if you can see right here, this hot glue spot, that's where your thermistor, they super glue it to right there so it can measure the air that's coming in the back. That way you don't overheat the area that you're in and then overheat the unit. It also is what tells you what the temperature is on the display. Alright, so we're going to set that aside. Now, here is a new thermistor that I have purchased. That's what it looks like. It's two wires and that goes up to a bulb with some epoxy over it to waterproof it, and that's it. And right here I have, make sure you're in frame. Alright, cool. Right here I have the old thermistor hooked up to it. Okay, and I'm going to show you what it looks like using a multimeter to determine if it's bad. Okay, now because it uses the ambient temperature and it responds to heat and cold, you will need a source of cold and or heat. You can use just heat, something hot. I'm using a soldering iron with an old tip on it. You can use a hair dryer or maybe a heat gun, and all you got to do is apply heat to the tip. So what we're going to do is we're going to take our multimeter and we're going to set it to resistance, which is the little omega symbol. That means ohms. And you can see what our reading is here already. We got 2.3 kilo ohms. Okay. Now, you don't necessarily need to know what all this stuff is rated for. And it's kind of hard to tell unless you have a parts list. But this happens to be a 10K negative temperature correlation thermistor. And that's what you're going to need to get. Okay, so basically what should happen is if we apply heat and or cold that's, relatively or significantly different than the ambient temperature, we should see a change on that. A steady change. Okay, so I've already cut the old one off, put the new one on, tested it to make sure that was a problem, but I've got it wired back on and I've got my multimeter hooked up to it. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my my soldering iron here, and I'm just gonna take it and touch it to the tip there. Now you can see it's changing a little bit, but not that much. Since this is a 10,000 kilo ohm, I'm sorry, 10,000 ohm or 10 kilo ohms thermistor, it should be sitting right around 10,000 at 70 degrees Celsius. But you see it's jumping all over the place. That's bad. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take our leads off. We're gonna pop this old one off, and we're gonna take this new one that I just got off Amazon, and that's actually a 2-pack for $6, and they had a 1-pack for like $5.90. So, all right, and then what we're gonna do is we're gonna wire this up. And as far as I understand it, don't quote me on this, since this is a resistor, it doesn't matter which wire goes to which. However, what I did do was I looked at the wires and I matched the markings up. Like there's one wire that has, I don't know if you can see that, one wire has text, the other wire has a bunch of long stripes on it, and so did the old wire, so I just matched those up just to be on the safe side. And I'm gonna hook my leads back on here. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna look at, see what our ohms are, our resistance. Okay, now you can see, now it's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit out here, but you can see the resistance on this is a lot higher than the other one, right? So on the old one, if you get like an open lead or an unchanging, or it's jumping all around, your thermistor is probably bad. So this one is a lot closer to what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be 10,000 or 10 kilo ohms. This is in kilo ohms, so 10 kilo ohms at 70 degrees Celsius. Well, it's about 50 degrees Fahrenheit right now. So it's going to be less than the 10,000 because it's reactive to the ambient temperature. But what we could do is we could take our soldering iron and we can kind of see what it looks like on a good thermistor. You can see it's dropping, and it's pretty smooth. And I take it off. Now there's some ambient heat in there. Let's try to cool it down with my fingertip. My fingers are a lot cooler than that. And you see it's going back up. And it's real smooth. It's not spiky all over the place. So now that we have it installed and we verified that it's working, what we can do is I can flip this back around. I can plug it in for you. And we can look at the display. Okay, so I did pause it. I don't know. I don't think I twisted them together that well, and it was still showing the 88. But as you can see, it's still the same thermistor. It's not even wired in. It's just loose right now. But you can see it's there. It's not the old one. And our error message is gone. We can turn it on. And it's cutting on. And heat is coming out. Alright. And it actually feels nice because it like I said, it's kind of chilly out today, and I'm not wearing a sweatshirt. All right, So unplug that, and then all you gotta do is solder and heat shrink these together, and then somehow affix it to the back panel of this. If you want to hot glue it or zip tie it or whatever, that's cool. And pop your deal back on. Whoops, that's upside down. Pop your deal back on, and then you should be in business. Hope that helps somebody.